2, 3, 4.
Good morning, my brothers and sisters, on this, our 36th episode of the Good Morning Guys podcast. Thank you so very, 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 very much for joining us on this fine morning, afternoon, evening, or night as we continue discussing the game of life amidst the other games we love to watch and play. I am just one of your four hosts, the Brazilian mountaineer, Lucas Ham Swisher. With me, the judge, jury, and executioner of fake news and spoilers, Patrick Novosel.
Good morning.
Also with us, the volleyballin' machine who can make you laugh in 3 words or less, Ronnie Johantges.
Hello.
And our final member of the GMG Quadfecta, the man with music in his heart, Doctor Who on his brain, and La Coretta literally in his stomach, Marc Boucher.
Oh, it's fresh. It's fresh in my stomach.
It is.
Like 15 minutes ago.
Wow, 15 minutes. That is hot off the skillet.
Mm-hmm.
Do you live at La Coretta?
Well, I mean, it is right down the street.
Livin' la vida la Coretta. Livin' la vida la Coretta. Sing it, Mark.
Upside, inside out. Okay,
That sounds like what you do like a couple hours later in your bathroom. All right, folks, if this is your first time joining us, welcome. That's all I got for you. Welcome. You are welcome here. We will not judge. We will only welcome you. You're welcome. Thank you for that.
I'll judge.
If it's not, you'll judge?
Oh, absolutely.
All right. Well, that's only 1 out of 4, so that's not bad. If it's not your first time, thank you so much for coming back. Welcome back. You're also welcome here. More welcome, in fact. To start things out, guys, I wanted to do another edition of GMG Community Cornery before we get into our updates and topic of the show. It is actually going to be a little different tonight because I wanted to do something that was kind of a form of a mix of a shout out, a request for prayer and support for one of our brothers in the community. And so I wanted to know, have you guys ever heard of this guy named Zach Auld?
Sure have.
You know, I don't know if
I've heard the name in passing.
Yeah. Maybe you haven't met him in person. I don't think I've met him in person, but I've heard of this Zach Auld also, who goes by the name of Podcast Junkie. For those of you that don't know him, he is a 5'10" Portland Trailblazer fan that loves to play Nintendo and PC games, which I won't judge too much.
That's Ronnie's job.
Emoji winky face. That's right. That's Ronnie's job. So I'm not going to judge. But also, he is a fellow podcaster. And if you get a chance, I would really like us to give shout outs of support, say a little prayer for him when you get this, when you hear this podcast and you're listening, say a little prayer for our buddy Zach Auld, because he is on the job hunt. And just the other day, maybe yesterday, I think, he said he was like waiting by the phone because he's like in the second level of interviews and such. But I just wanted to give a little shout out to him because that guy, he's a good guy. He
absolute good guy.
Like I said earlier, he is a fellow podcaster. He leads a little known podcast called Podcast Junkie, and it is literally a one-stop shop for finding the latest and greatest in podcast land. And if you are ever in search for a different podcast, you want to find out about a variety of podcasts, check out Podcast Junkie because every week he is reviewing a new podcast, and his little reviews and talks are only like 5 to 10 minutes long, so you can really get a taste for different podcasts throughout the land. So check it out. He also has they have a really nice Discord with Podcast Junkie. I really wish that I could be a more active member on that their Discord within their server, but I cannot keep up. They have like over 500 members now, and
the crazy part is I believe he has a merch store for Podcast Junkie, and I think all of that money goes back into supporting the podcast.
And that is another thing. Thank you for bringing that up, Mark, because that is another thing that makes it so special is that Podcast Junkie is literally a podcast for podcasts. They're not just shouting out podcasts. They're, like Mark said, selling merch. They do whatever it takes to kind of get the word out. And they, on the Discord, if you ever have questions or you want to find out how to do a podcast or what kind of equipment you should use, they have channels for that where you can talk about that stuff. It's really cool. and it is on and popping over there. I mean, it is so busy sometimes, it's almost as busy as like a Bob Ross Twitch stream. Like, there's people talking all the time. It's crazy. All right. So, that concludes our third edition of GMG Cornery. Dang it. GMG Community Cornery. Thank you for joining us, neighbors. With that, let's jump right into what's new news, sharing what's up with you, or maybe your world this past week. So, Patrick, tell me something good, or great, or gruesome, or gritty, or grand.
Oh, goodness.
Or,
okay.
or any other G word you have to share.
Go. Yeah, this past week I did nothing.
Fantastic.
It was one of the best weekends I've ever had. I mean, like, for the past 6 weeks, we have had something almost every single night, and we're always doing something. And on Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, no plans whatsoever. I had my buddy wasn't going to come over for game night on Friday, so I hung out with the wife. Saturday we had no plans, so it was pretty much just up in the air. We ended up going to Kings Island because it was 2:00 in the afternoon. We had nothing to do. We're just okay, let's go to Kings Island. So we went to Kings Island and rode a couple rides, came home, just watched a movie, did nothing. And then Sunday, my wife, it's Mother's Day on Sunday, and her wish was to do nothing. So I was like, all right, I'll get up. I'll take care of the kids, Patrick. Make some breakfast for you guys. Made sure that when she got home, she had lunch. Made sure when dinner came around, she had dinner. I took the kids out of the house so she could have some quiet time. Yeah, I mean, it was a bunch of nothing. I played very little games over this past week. I did try Days Gone. Now this man, Days Gone. Man, I really wanted to like this game. It's an open world zombie game. It's all right, sweet. It is a better polished
Patrick
State of Decay. What?
It's not a zombie game. It's a freaker game.
Freaker game.
Freaker game. Please tell your friends
Walkers,
that.
freakers,
I'm playing this
zombies,
freaker game.
Undead, same stuff. But oh my gosh, the graphics are nice, the audio is good, but the dialogue is just horrendous. The main character, is it Sam Witwer? I think he voices the main character, and it's so boring.
What's he? Who's,
I don't
Sam
believe
Witwer in? I don't remember. I'm sorry. I'm blanking.
Head into the Google machine.
Sam Witwer. So if you've played the Force Unleashed, the Star Wars games,
yeah,
he's him. He was Doomsday in Smallville.
Oh, okay. I'm there.
But
I'm
yeah,
with you.
What's that?
I'm with you now.
Yeah. Okay. So the dialogue that he's given, he is not relatable by any stretch of the imagination, to me at least. The game just starts off in the post-apocalyptic freaker world, and I don't have any vested interest in this character. So it was, oh goodness, my screenshot is all it's frozen again. Son of a man, I don't know what's going on. Oh goodness. But anyway, thanks for that snapshot.
You're welcome.
To let the people in at home, Patrick's video, for whatever reason, freezes about every 10 to 15 minutes. And
it's always in the best.
It's hilarious. Okay, yeah. It is the best.
It's always in the best possible position.
We're trying to save all of them to make a wallpaper someday where it's just Patrick's frozen.
It's going to be a calendar we can sell.
Yeah, calendar like a...
That was December right there. That was awesome. Your mouth was wide open.
Sexy podcasting
January.
poses.
February.
Oh goodness, I don't even know where I was. Days Gone.
Days Gone. Not relatable.
No good. I played
Freaker World.
maybe 3 sessions, about an hour each, and yeah, I don't think I'm gonna get back into it. It's not fun for me. I know a lot of people like it out there.
Patrick, just 40 more hours. 40 more hours and it gets really good. Just 40 more hours.
Hour 41.
I'd rather
Life-changing.
just break the disc and throw it away than play 40 more hours of that.
Just throw it in the corner with with Ronnie's copy of what was it, Cupman?
Cuphead.
Cupman.
Oh, sorry, my mistake.
Yeah, but yeah. Other than that, nothing. It was great. It was awesome. Mark, how was your week, man?
It was good, man.
That was
it
a
quite
terrible
good.
transition.
That
like
week.
swallowed
How
some air
good?
while I was
How
doing
good
that.
was it? How week good?
Please edit in a different transition that sounds really fake.
No, we are on fire tonight so far.
Mark,
Rolling on all
how
cylinders.
was your week? Okay, but no, my week was good. My weekend was especially good. And I don't want to go too much into certain elements because I'm going to save it for my topic that we're going to talk about. But so Saturday, basically, I took Cisco over to my sister's house because my sister is actually going to be watching Cisco in a couple of weeks when we go on our trip to the Outer Banks,
Ooh,
which is in North
spring
Carolina.
break. Woo!
Woo! Yeah, so that's the beach, basically. For those who may not be familiar with the North Kakalaki area.
Yeah. Shout out to the Kakalakis.
So my sister has 2 dogs of her own. She has like a little Yorkie, and then she has a husky, full-grown husky. And knowing how small Cisco is, and then thinking about those 2 dogs, I mean, the Yorkie's kind of small, but then you've got the huge husky. Cisco's never really been around dogs that often, so we were trying to basically get him acquainted with her dogs, being around them, so that he'll be okay once he ends up staying with them.
Do you think the husky's going to eat him?
No, actually, she. Her name is Aspen. She's
California.
That's not right.
California.
By California, you mean Colorado? Yeah. But anyway,
A little place called Aspen.
But yeah, so he was okay with Pixie, who's the Yorkie. There wasn't really a big deal, but Aspen, basically, this dog has no chill whatsoever. It's immediately like, play with me, come play with me, come on over to play with me. And she was all up in Cisco's face, and he was like growling and stuff, and he even nipped a little bit. Eventually they sort of just tolerated each other, but like then all of a sudden Aspen would get this small burst of energy and like, play with me, and Cisco's like, no, leave me alone. So, but it'll be okay. I feel like he'll probably get acquainted enough. And eventually Aspen knew to kind of respect Cisco and kind of back off a little bit.
That's important.
Like you could tell she was being kind of submissive, I guess, for lack of a better word. But it was good. We were there for like maybe a half hour, 40 minutes, and just chilled out there and got to let the dogs meet and all that kind of stuff. And then the rest of the day was pretty much nothing central, kind of like Patrick's weekend. Did a lot of gaming, played a lot of Apex for sure. Got a couple of wins in.
Look out. Chicken dinner's coming your way.
Yeah, one with some randos, and I think one was with Sheldor, but I'm not sure. I can't remember. But in any case, played plenty of Apex. And then Sunday, of course, was Mother's Day. So after church, because of Mother's Day, we didn't have youth group. So instead, we went to a city that's about a half an hour from where my church is, and we met with Kristen's family at a Red Lobster in that area.
Yum.
And so when we got there, like, we've done this several times in the past where we go out to eat, and it's like we never learn that, like, you're going to be waiting for a while because Mother's Day is probably one of the worst days of the year for restaurants. And so you're going to be waiting for a while. And so we get there, and they're like, yeah, it's going to be like a 2.5 hour wait.
Oh, jeez.
That is a long time.
And we got there at like 1:15. So, we're probably not eating till like 3:45, something like that. And I was like, oh, gosh. But there was really no other option because, all the other restaurants are going to be the same.
Yep.
So
you just had to commit.
We had no choice. We're an hour from home. I mean, it's not like we're just going to peace out and go home. So we might as well just hang around with family and talk and stuff and just wait. Well, apparently they misunderstood, even though I told the lady twice. I was like, oh, yeah, we're here. We're a party of 8. And she's like, okay, yeah, that's great. What's the name? So 12, right? And I heard her say 12. And I was like, that's not right. And so I was like, so that's a party of 8, right? And she's like, oh, yeah, okay, yeah. Well, they come up to us at first, and they're like, are you okay with sitting at separate areas? And we're like, no, we'd rather not do that. Like, okay. And then it was probably about an hour and a half that passed by, and they're like, oh, we thought you said 12.
Oh, jeez.
You only have 8? You guys can be seated. And I'm like, really?
You could have been seated an hour and a half ago.
Yep. So, but it's all good. We had a great time, and the food was awesome. Their biscuits were wonderful.
Cheddar
as
Bay
usual.
biscuits.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
I miss those so much.
I got me some Walt's famous shrimp. I believe that's what it's called. It's basically just fried shrimp, and fries.
But Walt made it.
Yeah.
So it makes it so good.
Apparently, there's a Walt at every Red Lobster.
Yep.
Shout out to Walt.
Mm-hmm.
Thanks, Walt. You're the best.
And all I could think of in my mind was, you can make shrimp in several different ways. Popcorn shrimp.
Shrimp stew.
Shrimp camp.
Shrimp salad.
Shrimp gumbo.
Shrimp kebab.
Shrimp sandwich.
That's about it. So, but no, we had a great time with family for sure, and I'll actually be seeing them in a couple weeks because that's who we're seeing at the beach. So Kristen's parents, not her parents, but her extended family, every year they rent a beach house in the Outer Banks. They've done it for almost 25 years, I think.
Ooh.
And we just spend the week there, and it's always a highlight of the year. So I'm excited for that. So I'll see them in a couple weeks. And then, just did some more chilling at home. And then, of course, tonight was La Coretta night where we celebrated, not just the fact that my brother-in-law's mother was in from out of town, but also it is my father-in-law's birthday this week. His birthday's on Thursday. So
happy birthday, Mark's father-in-law.
Happy birthday, Lee.
We know you're listening right now.
Wait, so
Totally.
Was that the same Lee that we played PUBG with like a year ago?
It is.
Okay.
Same guy. So yeah, we celebrated his birthday a little bit tonight. So it was La Coretta, but it was like a special occasion kind of thing. So, but yeah, that was pretty much my week. Ronnie, how was your week, sir?
Ooh, I'm up. You
That was
guys
a better transition.
are never going to believe what I did this weekend.
I'm
Probably not.
pretty sure we never believe what you do every weekend.
Honestly, that was good. I have no comeback for that. So I
rest my
played
case.
volleyball Friday night, played volleyball Saturday night in a tournament,
What?
and I played volleyball Sunday morning in a tournament.
Yeah.
Good night.
That's pretty much it.
How's your bruise doing?
It's actually way better. So it's way lighter coloring, and the swelling is down, like in the actual knot where I kicked myself. So pretty good.
So more so a bruise, less leper.
Yes. It does not look
Okay,
like
cool.
I'm about to turn into a zombie anymore.
A freaker.
Which is a freaker. Yeah, which has really, really been nice. I was actually getting a little nervous there. Like midway through the week, I started to get a little bit of red and yellowish coloring. And I will tell you that if I had not read online that the yellowish coloring would actually like be kind of like the next phase, I actually probably would have been a little nervous. So I didn't go to the doctor still.
Your mother is disappointed.
She was upset, that I did not go. My mom was all over me about going to the doctor. She's like, your leg is gonna fall off, and it was. I mean,
you don't know what to say. Just say it's gonna fall off.
There's nothing I could have said to make her feel any better.
No.
Like, Mom, it feels fine. I don't know what you're talking about. It just looks like my leg's gonna fall off. But no, I did play in 2 tournaments this weekend. By Sunday, I was wiped out. So it was one of those times where I haven't played like Saturday and Sunday tournaments for a really long time. And Sunday after the tournament ended, I think probably like 2 or 3 p.m., I was completely drained. But I did have to go out to, we went out to the Olive Garden for Mother's Day with some family, with Mama. And that was good. That was good. I will tell you, like, I don't know how you guys feel about Olive Garden, but like it is such a heavy meal. Every time I have left there, I have felt like a fat Italian piece of crap.
Isn't it great?
Well, yeah, because it's like pasta paradise.
Oh, they give you
Carb
eat all the
central.
bread at first. Like, it's just, man, it's a hefty meal.
That's the mission statement on Olive Garden's website, to make everyone feel like a fat Italian.
Yep, that's exactly. They succeeded 100% with me. But I actually went home and I went to bed before 10:30.
What?
Which for me is basically a world record.
That's like senior citizen hour.
That's what I'm saying. I know. It was really. You know what's the amazing part is I normally get like 6 hours of sleep a night, and this night I got like over 8, and I felt worse in the morning. I got too much sleep.
Welcome
so I woke
to the
up
30s.
like this morning, and I was like, man, I'm not gonna make it. Like I can't even get out of bed now. So total reverse effect. But for me, that was pretty much it. The only thing that I did this past week, and it was part of last week that I didn't mention, is I don't know, did I mention that I played through the Grand Theft Auto 5 story again?
I think you briefly mentioned it.
No.
Everybody's just
A couple
staring,
weeks ago.
like they're not sure.
No,
I'm not either.
Not sure at all. Maybe.
I was hoping somebody was going to give me a definite yes or no.
I'm going to give you a
and
definite maybe.
I got a lot of weird looks. No, I did play through that story and beat it again. And man, that's like such a fun game. Like, so I'll probably play that for a little bit longer, but time breaker there. But other than that, I really didn't do anything. I'm really hoping, Lucas, you can save us here with something great, good, grand, maybe even.
There you go. Get them G's coming.
Make us feel
Gargantuan.
giddy about it.
Ooh, giddy. That's a good word. I like that word. So I did it. Ooh, that laugh goes perfectly with giddy. Most certainly. Let's see. This past week, we recorded last Wednesday, right?
Yes, we did.
What is
Maybe?
Wednesday?
Maybe. What is Wednesday? I think we
Wednesday.
did. So it's only been 5 days. So it makes sense that you guys don't feel like you've done a lot. But for the second week in a row, I have been working harder than normal. I've still played video games, but I'll get to that in a moment. First of all, let me talk about work. Work is good, and it's been I don't know. Anytime I get to finally get out of the house and work at a church or work more in relationship with people, I really enjoy that. For some reason, I chose the work that I do as a missionary. I do a lot of it from home, whether it's studying, reading, planning mission trips, and using a computer, or sometimes I talk to people through text and Skype and that kind of stuff, but that's not really the same as being face-to-face. So I had made plans some weeks ago to visit a church, one of the churches that we used to go to in a town called Atibaia, about an hour and a half from Sao Paulo. But this week, one of the things I had to do was prepare for preaching. And I sometimes struggle with preparing a sermon in Portuguese because most of the time I have to plan it in English. Then I shove that baby onto Google Translator, And then I read through it again in Portuguese, correct the grammar mistakes. I give it to my wife to then correct the things that I corrected incorrectly because I'm terrible at grammar in both English and Portuguese. And then I have to start reading it over and over and over again to make it stick in my head because, as you guys know, I have dementia sometimes, most of the time. And so it was the same practice this week, and I got to Sunday, and I was not ready. Like, it felt like all the Portuguese words were just jumbled in my head. I don't know if you guys are into public speaking much. I mean, I guess podcasting is kind of public speaking, but it's not really because we're just hanging out and talking to a microphone to each other.
I dabble in
yeah,
it.
you dabble. Yeah, Mark, as a worship leader, you have to. If you just get up there and just sing and then you're like, the end, bye. And then you sit down.
The end.
That would not be very good worship leading.
I will agree with you though. Like public speaking is not. I think it comes very natural to some people, and to other people, it is kind of a nightmare. Like for me, like public speaking is like I'm okay like talking like a group of people, but when you have to like actually get up in front of people in like a structured talk of some kind, like like Pat, we have to do it like at work sometimes, like when you're leading a meeting or something like that. Like it comes very natural to some people, and others it doesn't. And I am one that it actually does not come natural to. So I get that too.
Yeah. And I think for me, I'm a pretty natural public speaker, and I actually find that sometimes I'm better at public speaking when I just kind of go in like improv, kind of like Ronnie you like to do on the podcast most of the time. That's kind of, I find my most, every time, I have the most success in that way. But in Portuguese, I don't feel comfortable going in like just flying off the cuff, just saying whatever comes to mind, because most of the time it's wrong, whatever comes to my head. Like I need to plan it out. So anyways, I was planning it out, and I just felt like all the words were jumbled in my head, and I had to leave. Like the church is an hour and a half away, and so I'm like, I've got to get out of here. And so instead of like having something where I could just like have references, I just had the whole manuscript typed out so that I'd just read it. And I didn't want to do that. I don't know if you guys have ever had a pastor or a public speaker just read what they had to say to you, but it's really boring when people read something to you instead of talking to you. And I didn't want to do that. And so I didn't know what else to do. So I took it, I got in the car, and I started to go. And it told me I was going to be an hour late to church service. And I panicked because I had always left at that time before, but the GPS said,
won't the
hey,
service be over in like an hour?
Oh no,
it'll be over by the time you get there.
Brazilians are hardcore. Their sermons are usually an hour, 45 minutes to an hour, and their whole church service is usually 2 hours. So I wasn't going to be late, but I was pretty much going to show up, and then 5 minutes later they're going to be like, "Hey, Pastor Lucas, come to the front," and that would have been really awkward. And so I decided to switch apps. I don't know if you guys use Waze or Google or Apple Maps, but I was using Waze at the time, and I switched it to Google Maps, and it told me I was going to be early. And I was like, what? There was an hour difference between the two GPS times. So I stuck with Google, and I made it there 15 minutes early. When I got there, I was in the car, and I kid you not, God was like, you are not going to read the sermon. Like, I felt in my heart, do not read the sermon. So 15 minutes before the service, I get out a pen, and I just start writing down, like, the main ideas of what I was going to say in English. And then that's what I used to give the sermon. Now, I had moments where I totally just like was just saying words. Like I lost my train of thought, But by the end, like I felt like God had like spoken through me, and I felt like it was an awesome moment where God used me to encourage other people, and he encouraged me through it. It was really a cool step of faith, and it, it was cool to talk to people that, I hadn't seen in quite a few months, and for them to just say, hey, what you had to say really spoke to me. And it was a really cool moment just to be reminded that it's not about me. It's not about the planning and all the things I have to do to get ready. It's about, when you have, something to say on behalf of someone else, whether it's God or your family or friends, and to love others, the words will come. And that's what happened. It was cool.
Nice.
But besides preaching in Atibaia this weekend, I also have been proctoring AP exams. Do you guys have any experience with AP tests or AP classes from high school? Anyone? Any nerds in here?
Negative.
Nope.
Nope. Fair enough. I actually had a chance to take AP Calculus my senior year in high school. And you know what I did instead? Teacher's assistant, office assistant, librarian's assistant, travel West Virginia class where we went on field trips all the time. I took the easy route in my senior year in high school, so I completely skipped all the AP classes. But if you guys have never had experience with the AP classes, they pretty much go like this. You take a class all year, and then at the end you have to take a test. If you do not get a 60% or above, you fail the whole year. Like, you don't get credit for anything that you've done throughout the whole year. And that was the main reason that I didn't do the AP classes back in the day. Now, I will say it bit me in the butt later, because then in college, when I could have graduated, they said I was missing one class. And do you know what class that was?
Calculus.
Study hall.
Spanish.
Mark, that is correct. I award you 5 points. Yes, I was missing one math class. And I looked back in my senior year in high school and was like, maybe I shouldn't have been a teacher's assistant, librarian's assistant, and an office assistant all in the same year. But I'm doing.
But it was fun.
That's right. It was fun. I loved it. I wouldn't change it even if I could go back in time. But in this AP proctoring, it is hardcore. Like, I have to read these statements to these students, and before they take the test and after they take the test, I have to say, you cannot talk about this test with anyone ever. Ever. Like they're on their deathbed.
10 years from now, they can't do it?
No, they're not allowed to talk about it. Ever. It says that. That's the rule. Like, they sign this little on the dotted line, and it says, you're agreeing to never talk about this test ever.
Is this Fight Club?
I know, right? Like, how serious? Like,
that's the worst NDA I've ever heard of.
I think that's so crazy. It's like, you really expect these kids to not talk about it? You know what's funny is after one of the tests I did this past week, a kid within 1 minute was like, man, what'd you guys think of that last question? And we're just like, dude, shut up. You're not supposed to talk about that. But man, it was so crazy. But it wasn't that bad. I just kept an eye on all the kids. And I worked, as Rachel and friends would say, I worked on my correspondence for the coming months. And that was about it. But besides those fun work activities, I also played some games. I played a fantastic little game, got 100% on it, using a trophy guide, of course, on a game called What Remains of Edith Finch. Have you guys played this?
Nice.
Heard of it?
Yeah.
Is this like
It's good.
3-hour platinum or something?
It's a 2-hour, 100% game. There's actually no platinum, so.
No platinum.
Yeah.
Aww.
Not quite as satisfying, but the story is really good. Like, it's really engaging, really mysterious. To give you a quick synopsis, it's pretty much you're kind of looking into this whole family's curse where everybody seems to be dying and you don't know why. And it's really cool. I really enjoyed it. And you just kind of explore each of the family members and their stories and that kind of stuff. Some people don't like walking simulators, but when it's really engaging story, I think it's really good. So I enjoyed that. And then also I started Overcooked, but not by myself.
Oh.
I put my 14 years of marriage to the test and played it with my wife. Not once, but 2 times. And we are still married. It was amazing. I don't know if you guys have ever played
Lucas is sleeping on the couch, but
no, not yet. Maybe we play a third time. I probably will. But for those that haven't played it, as I imagine Ronnie hasn't played it, Overcooked is a co-op cooking game where you kind of like, you have to pass ingredients to each other, cook stuff, and make burgers and soups and stuff to serve in a kitchen. Pretty much just doing that over and over again. But like, along with the cooking, there's earthquakes. There's like, one of the levels is there's 2 food trucks, and sometimes they split apart and sometimes they come together, and you have to like time what you're doing together. It's actually very frustrating if you let it. And with 2 times, my wife and I were laughing the whole time. It was very good. She usually spooks really easily, and she gets stressed about everything. Like, she can't watch us play Mario Brothers because every time we jump over a crevice, she panics. It's really ridiculous, but it is what it is. It's
really
like
ridiculous.
It's just a little hole, and it's not even real. And like, she's like clenching and like, yeah, getting all stressed out. But I definitely recommend playing Overcooked.
I'm afraid Like, I feel like on one hand, it would be good to play that with my wife, but I feel like at the same time, my wife and I would both get super stressed out by it, and she would get angry at it. I don't know.
I think the key is sense the signs, like pay attention to her. You know, she has cues of when she's about to go off or get mad. Or maybe you have cues for when you're going to get angry and be like, pass me the lettuce, woman. You know, that kinds of moments. You need to avoid those.
If the controller's across the room.
Yeah, exactly. But, like, you have to do it in little spurts. Like, just say, hey, we're just going to play 3 levels. And then we're done. And then go do something else. Watch a show. Relax.
Makes sense.
Yeah.
Is it still free on PS Plus right now?
It is. That and Edith Finch are both free on PS Plus. I recommend both.
We'll have to snatch them up.
And then the last thing I wanted to mention, I have a question for you guys. Have you ever gone into the middle of a crowd and just yelled a random name? Like, John! And then to see who turns around or talks to you?
Just for the purpose of seeing if there's a John?
Yeah.
Yeah, honestly, that thought or idea has never crossed my mind before.
Well, my friend, you should try it sometime. You know why?
No.
Because it's random. You know what's cool about random stuff?
Transitions.
It's the topic of our show. That is correct. That's right, folks. Transition segue. It is part 2 of our randomness topics episode from last week, and it continues as the 4 of us have brought a topic to the table. So let's get into it, shall we?
Yes.
All right. So who wants to lead the way as we all brought something to talk about and only have so much time to discuss it in? I vote Ronnie is next, so he can discuss why for the 30th week in a row he has still not watched Pat's DVD copy of Superman.
I didn't even know we were supposed to bring a topic.
Surprise! Even though it's not.
No, I actually thought about I thought about this, and I decided to keep my topic simple. And I have a question for you guys. I want each of you to name 2 to 3 things that make you happy in life. I'll start.
It's good.
So for me, the things that make me happy in life are hanging out with my friends is one of the things that I have the most fun with in life. It always makes me happy. Like, we're always doing something. And it's just, man, it's awesome. It really is. And, a lot of times, like, one of my other ones would be obviously like hanging out with my parents. And a lot of times my friends and I are hanging out with my parents. And it seems like weird, right? For like me and like, some of my buddies to go like hang out with my family. But, it's such a natural thing where we just go and everybody has fun. It's, it's just become like a very regular thing. And like to somebody on the outside, it may look a little like weird, like we're hanging out with my parents, but it is, it's been awesome, really. Now, I want all 3 of you one at a time to say one thing that makes you happy and why. Starting with Patrick. You had all this, all this time? You got nothing?
All this. I can't think of anything.
You got a pen in your hand. You didn't write it down?
I did write it down. So the one thing I wanted to write it down because I'm like, I'm going to make these the good ones. But the first thing that came to my mind was a kid's laugh. Now, not just my kids laugh, but like, like you see videos of like infants and babies and they got that like belly laugh and they fall over.
That's the best.
Every single time, it's just like if I'm ever feeling down or if I ever need a laugh, it's like just a kid's laugh. The kid's giggle, just, man, it's just like lightens the mood so much. I love it.
Noise.
Mark?
Also, before we actually started this podcast, before Lucas came around, Pat's daughter was on with us, and she had the earpieces in, and me, Mark, and her just danced to Crocodile Rock for a couple minutes. It was pretty awesome.
Nice.
It was pretty awesome. Was it Crocodile Rock though?
Wasn't it?
I think it was still rock and roll to me.
You might be right. Honestly, I was thinking but your face is convincing.
He does have music in his heart.
He does.
No, it's all good. We were dancing to a really good song.
Yes, we were.
That's what happened. Gosh, one thing that makes me happy in life. A song that takes me back to a particular place or a particular time. Like, when I put on Lifehouse's No Name Face, it just takes me back to 2001. Which has its lows and its highs. But I just love that a song or songs can act as basically a vehicle to take you back to places you can't typically go on your own. So that's certainly something, even though it may have been a low point in my life, it still makes me happy that I can, I can be reminded of certain times. I heard a song at this point in my life and like, oh man, I remember that. So that certainly makes me happy.
Yeah, and plus, and I think those low moments too, like, you can look back on those low moments that they remind you of, and I mean, those low moments like totally shape you into you today. So, I mean, without the lows and the highs, you wouldn't be who you are.
Yep.
Man, right?
For sure.
Right connected with that, Mark, that plays right into one of the things I thought about, and it's nostalgia. I know that putting happiness with nostalgia actually is not, it's not 100% correct, because nostalgia is supposed to be a word that represents things from the past, memories that cause you pain, like it hurts because you miss it so much. But I find that there are times when, you get so stuck in the moment, or you get so, frustrated about maybe where life is going or where a situation's going, or you're tired from work, or, when negative things happen in your life, for me, something that can always draw me back to give me joy and happiness is just anything that causes nostalgia in my life. Like earlier today, Mindy and I were watching that 70s show, and two of the characters, a boyfriend and girlfriend in the show, were talking, and just a situation they were in started reminding Mindy and I of when we were dating, and we just started reminiscing, like just for a few minutes, about when we were dating, many moons ago, back before you guys were born. Just kidding. And it's just talking about that is just so cool. But just like you're talking about, Mark, when I hear Oasis's not Wonderwall, Don't Look Back in Anger, when I hear the President of the United States of America sing Doom Buggy, like there's this different songs. Fugees, when they sing Killing Me Softly, Smells, like there's some foods that Mindy makes that just reminds me of my childhood, or reminds me of when we first got married. Like nostalgia is just great to me, and like Ronnie said, it's a mixture always of like something you miss, but something that gave you so much joy then, and you bring it to the present, and it just you remember not just what it was, but it's a part of who you are now. Like whether it's from something good in the past, or even though you miss it, it's a part of who you are, and to remember that just definitely makes me happy to think about that.
Yeah,
awesome.
Yeah, man. That is a good one. I think we all have like so many different things that remind us of like the past, and like music is one of them. But and that's it's funny, that's the reason that I like to listen to the radio. Like most of the people, like the radio is not much of a thing, but like I love the randomness like of the radio. Listening to some of those stations, like some of those songs that come up, you're like, wow, like they just like almost like take you back, and it's just like this whole random, like just a random selection of songs. So it's one of the reasons that I like do listen to the radio from time to time instead of just just listening to my phone, the same stuff. So my next thing that makes me happy is when you're really tired and you first lay down in your bed and you get situated like in your comfortable spot.
Yes.
Just that feeling, you're like, you just want to giggle like a little kid.
You know, the giddy
so
sound.
excited.
Dude, that
So
sounded a little
excited
bit
to
like
relate
Elmo.
Yeah.
Oh boy, that tickles. Emma loves it when he goes to bed.
Not bad.
Oh man, it just to go along with that, when you wake up and it's like 10 a.m. and for some reason either your wife or your kids let you sleep in, and you're like, wow, it's 10 a.m. I haven't slept this late since I was in college. You know, just like, oh man, you feel so refreshed. But then you also, like Ronnie, you sleep too much, your back hurts.
Oh yeah, yes. It's
Sore.
like, oh,
You got
I slept
lesions on
in.
your skin for laying in one position for the entire night.
You got to limp off the first couple of steps.
Yeah, it's a mixed bag.
You're walking to the bathroom like a 65-year-old man, like, oh my god,
Cracking every bone in your body.
But it's so glorious. Is that you kind of squint your eyes, you rub your eyes, you look at the clock, like, is it really 10 a.m.? What day is it? You know. Oh man, that's so good.
I think my favorite part of getting into bed, like for me, like I don't know how it is for you guys, but like my internal body temperature like runs a little hotter, and so it is so nice to get into bed when the sheets are nice and cool.
That is nice.
Oh, it's the first.
Yes.
Or when they've been freshly washed and dried,
Yes.
and it's the
Or when
first
you
time using them. Oh yeah.
Yeah, or when you flip your pillow over, you get the cool side.
Oh yeah.
That's glorious.
Cool side of the
All
pillow.
right, let's stop now and just go take some naps. We'll come back
Actually,
later.
how about let's just take a nap right here, right now? That could be one of the topics. Us just
Yeah.
sleeping
Live
for like
on
20
air.
minutes. I'll set an alarm.
That's a good one, Pat, but I can't really relate to that because my house is always completely empty. So every morning when I wake
Your
up, I'm
cats let you sleep in.
like, nice.
Yeah.
Nobody here.
Just me. Way to rub that in there, Ronnie.
I know, but you know, it's like anything, like it's all in moderation. If I do it like all the time, I feel like I would, lose a lot of my day, but every once in a while when that happens, it's glorious.
There are so many Saturdays where I wake up at like 8:30 a.m. for absolutely zero reason. And I get up and I'm like kind of frustrated that I'm up, but I'm like, yeah, I'm just going to lay there and I'm not going to go back to sleep. So whatever, I'm up.
Yeah.
I don't know whose turn it is, but I have to say that one of the first things that entered my mind when Ronnie said, what makes you happy or what makes you feel happy? You guys know that feeling when you just start some kind of vacation? It can even be the weekend and you go,
yes.
you either it can either be getting home knowing that you have nothing for the next 2 or 3 days or a week, or my particular favorite is when you go on like vacation somewhere and you go to like a resort, a hotel, like a new place you've never seen before, and you understand and feel this openness, this freedom. Like, I just have the next week to do whatever I want. Freedom.
The only problem with that is you wake up the next morning and you have like 3 hours of vacation left.
Yeah. You're like,
It's
what?
over. It's already over.
No.
And it's gone.
No, for me now, you get to the new place, and all of a sudden you hear, Daddy, James just pooped his pants. Stuff like that, like where the kids just interrupt what was supposed to be.
What a
something
disaster
amazing.
that must be.
Yeah. Kids ruin everything. No, I'm just kidding. I love them so much. I mean it.
Mark, what do you got up next?
I think it's my turn. We'll
do one more quick one after Mark.
I should have been thinking about this and I didn't. Probably being stupid with my wife and making stupid jokes.
I get that.
Yeah.
Yeah, just because she gets my ridiculous jokes and she laughs at them.
Yes.
And we laugh
that's
at
a good one.
silly and weird
Yep.
things. Like for example, like even though the app has long since been shut down, we still love watching because they've posted it up on YouTube. There's like all these like compilations of what are called Vines,
Yeah.
Vine
Those
videos.
are good.
And there's like the best, and the amazing part of that is like we can joke about it together, and we always laugh. And whenever something comes up in like a normal conversation that makes us think of a meme from Vine, we always shoot a look at each other. And the best part is like our youth group, they know about it too, so we can joke like all sorts of different Vines with them, and they understand the references, but just joking and laughing about little stupid things, and knowing that my wife gets and likes my nerdy stupid jokes.
Yeah, man, that's the best when you make your wife laugh. Like, that is the best feeling. Like, there's nothing like it. Like, I make my kids laugh. I make, friends and acquaintances laugh. But when I get my wife to just like lose it, almost spit out her food or a drink, that's like, yeah, I still got it. Like, that just makes me feel good, It's just like, I love it.
I think it's even better when you're trying to be funny and you get the eye roll from both your wife and your kids. You're like, oh, you're still having fun. You're just like,
Dad, mission accomplished.
That's the reaction I was looking for.
Yeah, exactly.
So my last one is a fresh, cold toilet seat.
Yes.
One that nobody has been on for at least 30 minutes.
Yeah. How about that first one into work day? Like when you're the first one into work and you use the toilet
when you
seat.
can tell it's been cleaned and nobody's been on it yet. Oh, that's the best.
You do that almost every morning, don't you? You like
I do try.
You check into work and you immediately run to the bathroom.
I do try.
I got
get in
dibs.
early.
Somebody walks into the bathroom. Oh, glorious day!
There's Ronnie again, sitting on the cold toilet seat.
Jackpot.
One thing that makes me happy is when I'm at work and I'm off doing something, training, meeting, whatever it is, and I get back to my desk and I have no new emails. Ooh. I feel like I'm on top of the world. Like, yes! Woo! It doesn't happen very often, but man, it's so glorious. I feel like I need to just like take a break because I'm just so excited.
All the planets have to align for that to happen.
Yeah, I know. It has happened before.
It like reconnects to the internet,
rare.
and all of a sudden it dumps like 20 emails from the past 20 minutes.
It's like once every 5 years it happens, and it's awesome.
What else you guys got? Anything?
Mark, is it me or you?
I said you guys because Mark wasn't ready last time.
Mark,
sorry,
thought I'd air it out.
I didn't know whose turn it was.
Mark, do you
I
want
think
a
Mark's
moment?
ready though. It looks like he's ready.
He's smiling. He's happy.
Yeah, Mark,
he
go
must
ahead.
be thinking of it.
Now, before
Mark,
before
you
you go ahead, Lucas.
No, let's not do this again.
No, don't get stuck in the loop. No. Let's see. Things that make me happy. Probably, honestly, just chilling back and just gaming with friends. Like anytime I get on and like, for example, with Apex Legends, like it's fun when you're going by yourself, and of course Apex has made it really easy to play with random people, but it's just so much more fun when you're playing with friends and you're talking about life together and stuff, and you're joking around, and then stupid things happen in the game that you don't understand, and you can joke about that. It's just so much more fun to do that with friends.
Mm-hmm.
It's always more fun to do lots of things with friends, but like specifically when I'm gaming, which I already very much enjoy, and then doing it with friends who are also excited about gaming, it's just a very relaxing thing. So and very enjoyable. So,
Nice.
The last thing that I'll say that makes me quite happy is, I think those moments in life when, at least from my perspective, when God reveals himself. Some people can call it an epiphany. Some people can call it a light bulb moment. Some people call it God moments or a spiritual moment, whatever. But like, especially when you don't expect it, like you're talking to someone and they're having a rough day, you don't know what to say, and then all of a sudden a Bible verse comes to mind or an experience you had and you share it with them, and all of a sudden you see like a look on their face like you impacted them. or you're frustrated and you don't know what to do, and then all of a sudden you remember something, or I don't know, your wife says something to you, or a friend, or whatever. Just those moments when all of a sudden you realize life's about more than just you, or you're not lost, or it's not hopeless. Like just those moments when you realize there's somebody looking out for you. Those moments make me real happy, and especially when it involves other people, like friends or family or whatever.
Yeah, I think I get that feeling a lot of time. I mean, you've been in ministry for a while, and I've been in ministry, and there are certain days where like you kind of just don't, honestly, you just don't feel like it.
Yeah.
You just don't feel like doing it. And then God does something awesome, and had you not been there to experience it, you would have missed out on something incredible. Mm-hmm. And so it just really brings like okay, this is what I'm supposed to be doing, and this is why I'm doing it. Not to say that you specifically, made it happen, but if you hadn't listened to God and you hadn't, done your part, then you might have missed out on that opportunity to see God working. And so I think that brings new motivation every time in ministry, for sure, to see God working.
Definitely. Cool. Well, good topic, Ronnie.
Really good. Who is up next?
So I'll take it. I'll go next.
Ooh, taking it.
So, yep, taking it and running with it. So I held off a little bit of my my update because it involves my topic for this week. So one thing that I did not do this weekend that was heavily involved in my home city was graduation.
Mm-hmm.
Graduation was going on this weekend at several colleges in the area, including one, Liberty University, which is in my home city. And so, for those who might not know, in the past, I have worked for Liberty as a custodial worker. So, janitor, basically. So you know what that entails and all that fun stuff. And it's on a college campus, and it's crazy. And I struggle with OCD and germophobia, which, I mean, it's kind of crazy being a janitor and dealing with that, but I made it through.
You survived.
Thank God. Yes.
Tell the tale.
I did. And so one of the things that is part of that job responsibility is basically it is the one day out of the year that's mandatory. If you work for Liberty and you work for the custodial department, it is mandatory for you to be at graduation, and you have to be there stupid early. Like, we're talking this. I think this year they had to be there at 4:30 because Vice President Mike Pence was the keynote speaker at graduation. So that was probably insane for them. But this is the first year in about 5 years that I didn't have a single thing to do with graduation because I no longer work for Liberty. And so it was so nice to be able to, and my sister's house, where I took Cisco, is like the way other direction. So I pretty much was able to avoid all the craziness of that one area of the city. And it was nice to just not have anything to do with it and just do whatever I wanted, and to be able to avoid all that stuff and not have to be in that complete nightmare, because you're talking probably 40,000 people on this campus, which is kind of insane. And it's a smaller campus. They're still growing. But yeah, and it's like nestled on a mountain. So it's just kind of crazy. But all that to say, I'm glad that I didn't have to deal with that this year, but that kind of dovetails into my topic this week. Do you guys have any graduation stories involving college or high school or anything like that. I know for me, it's just always the craziness of trying to get on the campus early, and especially like my campus has a lot of political speakers for graduation and stuff, and so you've got to go through security and all that kind of stuff. And but I just remember my college graduation as just looking back at the past 4 years and realizing, God really brought me through so much. Just going into my freshman year of college, it was kind of insane, the stuff I was dealing with, the drama I was dealing with, and the fact that I had wandered away from God, and to see myself 4 years later and to see what God brought me through, and to note that I was in this moment and I was here with my family who through good times and bad had stuck by me and all that kind of stuff. It just really sort of came to a head at graduation. I was like, yeah, I was done school, but like, look how much God had worked in that 4 years. It was just so right in my face. And I was so thankful for it. So do you guys have any sort of graduation stories, whether it be about some, college or high school, if you didn't go to college, that kind of stuff?
So for me, I kind of already gave a little bit of a story that connected to graduation from college, where I did not actually finish with my diploma because I was missing that one math class. So for me, college graduation was really it felt kind of fake, because, I was wearing the outfit. I was with all my friends. We were all celebrating. It was the end of the school year. We were going to move on, get jobs, do all those kind of things. But at the same time, the diploma, that diploma, quote unquote, that they handed me, when you look at it and open it up, said it was pretty much like the first 7 worlds of Super Mario Brothers, where it's like, hey, the princess is not here. Hey, your diploma's not here. You got to do one more class in order to get it. So college graduation was a big letdown, because I really just walked across the stage when they said my name, smiled and waved, like the penguins from Madagascar, and that was it. My family came and we hung out with friends. But for me, graduation in college, because I had just broken up with Mindy 3 months before or 2 months before, I wasn't really sure what I was going to do. I kind of was going to stick around the area and, find a job at a church and finish this math class and kind of go from there. But high school graduation, I really had a lot of fun with that. My family from Ohio came, and my family from Ohio is pretty much the main reason that I'm ever loud. Anytime I have a loud voice, anytime I scream into the microphone and get Patrick frustrated because he has to turn down the levels and stuff, that is my Ohio family's fault. In their hometown of Perrysburg, Ohio, they're generally called by their friends in the area the Loud family. We have a lot of Irish in us, and my uncles back in the day, the more alcohol they got in them, the louder they got. But they all came to town. We went to, I had a party and friends had parties, and we just hung out and celebrated the end of high school. And, I remember the graduation itself was it was like a mixed bag. It was exciting. Everybody was screaming. Every time someone's name got called, you could hear their family in some part of the auditorium, yelling for them and supporting them. But it was a mixed bag because it was supposed to be outside, but a thunderstorm came that day and ruined the outside ceremony. So we had to all go into the auditorium, and this auditorium was 50 years old at the time. It did not have air conditioning. It did not have ventilation. It was
oh, yikes.
It was, and it did not have the capacity to handle all the students in the graduating class and then their extended families. So it was
and you're all wearing robes.
Yeah, exactly. It was like a Roman bathhouse. And we just were in there sweating and just we're just trying to get, they had to go through, it's not a huge class list, but it was 150, 160 names in our graduating class. So going through each name, and but people made the most of it, and it was just, when I look back, it's interesting to compare the two graduations. Like, I just really, one was a letdown, but the high school one was fun, even though it was a sauna in the auditorium.
Oh yeah, I remember. I had to, the way that Liberty does it, they basically have the main ceremony for college, which is in the football stadium, and then they separate everybody into their own individual degree program ceremonies, and so they're all at different appointed areas on the campus. And so we had a smaller ceremony for the School of Worship, which is what I graduated with. And I just remember I thought it was so funny that you walk up on the stage, and the way that they do that, they hand you what looks like maybe a diploma. It's like this little rolled up piece of paper with a ribbon tied to it. And when you open it up, it turns out, hey, congratulations. Now, why don't you think about donating some money to us?
Geez.
And I'm like,
already hitting
really?
up the alums for their
but I was like, no, I had to get my degree because technically I had to do my internship that summer, and so I couldn't get my actual degree until like August or September, and I had to go pick it up. So I was like, well, that's rather unceremonious,
anticlimactic
but
for sure.
Yeah, but that's all right. So, Patrick, you got any college or high school memories of graduation and all?
See, I was trying to rack my brain to remember graduation, but I can't.
Spring
must
break
have been
woo!
Totally uneventful or eventful, But I did have a story back in high school. It was like 4 weeks before graduation, and my best friend at the time, he was a relief pitcher for the school baseball team, and they played like 30 something games, and it was the last game of the season, and I was pretty frustrated for him that he had only pitched like 4 times in this 30 game span. He's a relief pitcher, so he would only pitch like an inning at the most, and he was the only left-handed pitcher on the team. So I would have thought that he would have been in way more situations.
Yeah, they would have used him more.
With him being left-handed, he has like wicked curves and sliders and things like that the ball moves. So I thought he would have pitched more, but he didn't. So the last game of the season, I went out and got a shirt made, and on the front it said Coach. I'm not gonna say his name. It says Coach Blank sucks. And on the back, it said put Mayberry in. So I'm sitting there in the bleachers, and I am at the time 18 years old, and I'm like, yeah, I know more than everyone. This shirt sounds like, I'm not going to get in trouble at all.
No,
sure,
not at all.
I mean, yes, it totally makes sense. Why would I get in trouble? So I'm wearing that, and it is like the 6th inning. He still hasn't come in. So I stand up, and I'm like pointing to it, and then I turn around, point to my back, and then I turn around, point to the front, and then I kind of made sure that this coach saw this shirt. Like, are you like, put him in? Let's go. Like, why did you have him on your team if you're not gonna play him? Kind of thing. Yeah. So he didn't end up pitching that game. I don't know if it was because of my shirt or it's because the coach sucked. I don't know. So so the next day, I get called to the principal's office, and he's like, I heard you about the shirt you wore yesterday. I was like, yeah. He's like, what'd it say? I was like, dang it. So I was like, this coach sucks. And he's like, sucks what? And I was like, what do you mean? He's just like, I don't like him. Sucks what? And I was like, what do you mean? He's like, get out of my office. You got in school suspension. And I was like, okay. So whoops.
Whoopsie.
So obviously, my parents found out, and my older brother at the time, he's like, he comes to me, he's like, you're an idiot. what the heck are you doing? You're about to graduate high school. Don't mess this up.
It's the home stretch.
4 weeks away.
Yeah.
Don't be an idiot. But looking back on it, man, I probably could have done it differently, but man, I was totally rooting for my buddy, being behind him and everything. Support, right? Exactly. Right. But yeah, why didn't I think I was going to get in trouble? Why not?
Yeah, that is good. I think some things are, especially when you're 18 years old, some things are more important than the graduation. You're like, yeah, whatever. Who cares about this graduation?
But he's my buddy, man.
The only memory I have of graduation is when I graduated from the University of Cincinnati with my bachelor's degree. I remember my initial thought immediately was, yeah, I'm not going to that. And for me, it's one of those just formal things that to me doesn't really matter. And I remember talking to my mom about me not going, and she wasn't happy about it. And I realized that it really wasn't even for me. Like, I went for her. Like, I went for them. You know what I mean? It was a proud moment for her as a parent. For me, it didn't matter at all. It was just a piece of paper. It was an accomplishment and everything like that, but to me, it was just a piece of paper. And if I could avoid the whole ceremony for graduation, I would definitely do it every single time. But when I thought about it, and thought about how much it meant to them, to my family, different story. So I remember just having this feeling like I kind of felt like a jerk because I wasn't going to go. And I obviously I ended up going to it, but it was a proud moment, for parents, to see you succeed and things like that. So it's, the graduation thing for me, man, I totally would have avoided it if nobody really cared about that. But for her, it was a very proud thing. So I'll always remember that about the graduation, that I just had this realization that all of a sudden it really isn't about me. To be honest.
Yeah.
If that makes sense.
Yeah.
Yeah,
sure.
definitely.
So we here at the Good Morning Guys wish to offer a salute to the class of 2019. Salute to you. Congratulations. May God bless you in your further efforts.
Yes.
Patrick's frozen in his salute. Oh, dang it. He just came back out of it.
All right. So, Lucas.
Hi.
What is your topic, sir? What you got?
All right. I hope you guys are ready.
Oh, I'm definitely not.
I know you're not. No, I think you're ready, Ronnie. All right, guys. Well, my topic for today is this. Let's play Bamboozled! Hello, folks. Welcome. My name is Lucas Ham Swisher. I'm your host tonight on the latest edition of Bamboozled International Edition. On our last game, Ronnie beat Marc and Patrick in our Pets Edition, and today he will choose our order. So, Ronnie, what order would you like to go in tonight to defend your championship?
Lucas, I would like to go 4 times in a row and take you guys out of the equation.
I am sorry, that is not an option. Try again, or you forfeit the right to choose.
I'd like to go Marc twice and then me twice.
3rd time's a charm. Please choose an order that works. Each person getting one.
Choose an order.
All right, Marc goes 3 times, then I go last.
All right, Marc, please choose the order because Ronnie is a loser.
This kind of sounds like, you know how when you're trying to call a some sort of customer line and you get that menu, the automated menu, and you don't choose the right one of the options at all and it repeats itself. That's what I feel like is going on here.
Hello and welcome to Movie Phone. If you know the movie you want to see, press 1 now.
Ronnie, you going to pick an order or are you just going to fool around the whole time? Come on.
All right, serious
so
order.
Marc?
I'll do it. I'll do it if you...
I was picking the order, right?
Pick.
I'm still up?
Yeah.
I would like to...
Do it.
Before I pick the order, Patrick, you go ahead and pick the order.
All right. Mark, Ronnie, me.
Fantastic.
Oh.
Lucas
Patrick.
doesn't get to go. He's out.
No, he's the
I
He's
know
the host.
the answers. All right, so the order is going to be Mark. I already forgot the order. Ronnie and Patrick. That's what it is. All right, folks, let's play Bamboozled International Edition. Question number 1. What is the most translated sacred book in the world? Patrick.
The Bible.
Dang it, it's not Patrick first, it's Mark. That was a test and you failed. But that's okay. Mark, what is your guess?
I would say La Biblia.
Ronnie?
The Lord of the Rings movie / books.
The movie.
You did hear me say the most translated sacred book in the world.
The Lord of the Rings, The Two Towers.
Okay, and Patrick, sticking with your original answer.
Sure am.
No, Mark already took that. You can't take it.
Fantastic.
Well, technically Patrick took it, but you know.
All 3 of you can take it, and 2 of you are correct. Ronnie, I'm sorry, you do not get points on this question, but Mark and Patrick, you both get 1 point. Good job.
Yeah.
Next question.
Good job, Mark.
This time we're going to
Internet
start
5.
with Ronnie to spread the love.
Yes.
Starting with Ronnie, Papua New Guinea holds the record for the most official languages. How many are there? I will give you 3 options. Is it 460, 830, or 1,232?
I'm going with 1,232.
And Patrick?
B. Whatever that one
what
is.
is B? 830?
Yes.
And Mark?
I will also go with B. 830.
For the second question in a row, Mark and Patrick, you are correct.
Internet 5.
Sorry, Ronnie.
I hate this game.
That's all right, folks. We still have 8 more questions. You have 8 more chances to catch up. So, question number 3. Actually, boom, 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 boom. Ooh, 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 ooh. Patrick, since you get to go first, you get to pick a Wicked Wango card or spin the Wheel of Mayhem.
Spin the Wheel of Mayhem.
Let's spin it, shall we?
Oh, come on!
All right, Patrick. Oh, I'm sorry. During this next question, you have to hold your breath until you give an answer. And you do not get to go first. So, starting with Mark.
Wait a minute.
Patrick,
Do we
are
all
you
have to
holding your
hold our
breath?
breaths until we give our answer?
No, just Patrick.
Just Patrick.
Patrick, hold your breath, please, while we ask the question. Okay, Mark, this question is brought to you by VP Barnaby Butters, our friend over on the Discord. So, how many states does Mexico have? 31, 34, or 40?
40.
Ronnie? 31, 34, or 40?
Wait a minute. Do I have to answer or just keep holding my breath?
If you don't answer, Patrick will pass out and die. Please answer. 31, 34, or 40?
I'm going to go with B.
What a popular answer today, okay? Patrick,
B.
you are all big losers and incorrect. It is 31 states in Mexico. Sorry, Barnaby Butters, we failed you. All
That's what
right,
I said.
question number 4.
Not from Mexico.
What?
I am not from Mexico.
Fair enough. All right, question number 4. We're going to start with Mark. Mark, most spoken language in the world, is it English, Spanish, or Mandarin Chinese?
Mandarin Chinese.
Ronnie
Spanish.
and Patrick.
Mandarin Chinese.
So many people in China.
For the third time this game, Mark and Patrick, you are correct with Mandarin Chinese. Sorry, Ronnie.
Internet high five.
Way to try to make up things with Barnaby Butters and talking about Spanish, but that is incorrect. Okay, Ronnie, you get to go first, even though you have been wrong 4 times in a row.
How many more questions are there?
Just a few. Which of these songs is the most sung in foreign languages? Amazing Grace, Yesterday by the Beatles, or It's a Small World After All by Disney?
The Beatles.
Patrick.
It's a Small World.
Mark.
Man, he answered that.
It's a Small World.
I am sorry, you all are incorrect. It is Amazing Grace. Written and
I don't believe you.
sang by
Liar.
Wilberforce. That Wilberforce guy. I can't remember his name. Sorry.
William Wilberforce?
Yes, thank you. So, Ronnie, since you are...
Well, he didn't sing it.
Well, I know. I'm just kidding. Ronnie, since you are the biggest loser at the moment, would you like to spin the wheel or pick a Google card?
Ooh. Let's go Google card.
Oh, Ronnie.
Daily double.
Your luck has turned around because
Or
you
has it?
receive all the points from Mark and
Yes.
Patrick.
Yes!
What a ripoff!
Game.
What
It's
a
rigged.
ripoff!
It's rigged.
You guys suck at this
Game is
game.
rigged.
You have now taken the lead, my friend, as we
Ooh.
move into question number 6.
Feels great.
Question number 6. I can't remember who goes next, so we're going to go with Ronnie since he's already winning. Question number 6. This question is brought to you by Gabriel Pavão, one of our good friends and listeners here in Brazil. So, Ronnie, of all the world's countries, where does Brazil rank in both area and population? No options. Just give me a number.
Wow. No.
What?
Give me
What
any
number?
number and you win.
Nope. You have infinite
man, this
options
is
and you must pick
rough.
one. Where
is
do
it
they
just
rank?
closest to gets a point?
In area and population. Yes. Thank you for clarifying. The closest to the answer, either over or under, gets the point.
God, it's a limitless question. I'm going to go with 9th.
Patrick.
3rd.
Mark.
Definitely wrong.
Can you repeat the question?
Where does Brazil rank in both area and population of all the world's countries?
7th.
Since you're both 2 away, just one is over and one is under, Patrick and Mark, you both get a point for this question for the 4th time in the game. Congratulations. All right, question number 7, starting with Mark. As of August 23rd, 2016, what is the population of the world?
H.
You have 5 seconds to give an answer.
2.4 billion.
All right, Ronnie.
I'd like to take all of Mark and Patrick's points again, please.
That is not correct. Patrick.
2.6 billion people.
What did Mark say?
2.4 billion.
Patrick, you are closest, even though you are super far away. It is 7,346,235,000
So close.
people in this world.
7
Wow.
billion, Jesus.
You
What's
just
the
gave the
score here?
population.
How long
You
do I have
just
to
gave
hold on
the-
for?
The population, you just gave the population of the world back in the 1200s, probably. So, right now, the current score is Mark 1, Ronnie 6, Patrick 1. Let's continue. We have
This game, 0.
3 more questions, starting with Ronnie. In London, Ronnie, what bridge marks the oldest crossing of the River Thames? Runnymede Bridge, London Bridge, Tower Bridge, or Westminster Bridge?
Westminster Bridge.
Patrick
A. The Runnymede Bridge.
and Mark.
London Bridge.
Ding, 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 ding. That is correct. Mark, you get a point for your correct guess of London Bridge. And for that,
And now you have that song in my head.
you get to pick a Wicked Wango card or a Google card.
Ooh.
I kind of want to try the Wicked Wango card just to see where it goes.
Wicked Wango card! Wow, Mark, you have picked what might be the turnaround card of this game as Ronnie has been bamboozled. Oh no, sorry Ronnie. From here on out, you have no chance of winning. You are a loser, my friend. So let's finish things out with questions 9 and 10, shall
I
we?
gotta be honest, I totally deserve that.
For question number 9, we've been inspired by Ash Ingram, and we have a question for you about Scotland. So, starting with Patrick, what has been the official language of Scotland since 2005? Scottish, English, or Gaelic?
Oh, man. English. I don't know.
English, I don't know. Mark.
Do I not even get to answer?
No, because you have no chance of winning.
Yeah, but you guys did have a chance of winning before that Wicked Wango card.
Oh, the
Still
tables have
answered.
turned there, pal.
Can I get another
Oh, the
card?
turntables have turned. I'm going to say Gaelic.
And Ronnie, I'll give you a pity guess.
Gaelic.
Wow, for the first time this game, Ronnie has gotten a question right, even though it's pointless at this point. It is Gaelic. Good job, Mark
Do I have
and
a chance
Ronnie.
to draw a card?
Nope, no more cards left, my friend.
Dang it.
All right, for question number 10, the final question, we will let Ronnie go first. On what continent is the largest desert found?
Let's see. Continent, desert. Africa.
Patrick?
Oh, jeez. I don't know. South America.
And Mark?
I would say Africa as well.
Oh, I'm sorry. We had to end on a losing question. The correct answer is Antarctica.
What?
Bazinga. You've been
Liar.
bamboozled.
I do not believe that
Nope.
at all.
If you look up the definition
Fact
of a
check.
desert, it will tell you. And I won't tell you right now because we ain't got time for that. So that concludes all 10 questions. And congratulations, Mark. You are the new Bamboozled questionnaire extraordinaire with 3 points. Patrick, you also had 1 point, just like Ronnie, who had 1 pity point. So you at least beat Ronnie because 1 pity point is worth 1/10 or 100th of 1 full point. So congratulations, Mark, for first place. You are the new Bamboozled champion. Patrick, second place. And Ronnie, well, you always had last time when you won. Better luck next time, folks. Thank you for joining us on the second edition of GMG Bamboozled. That is all we have for you today.
I don't even want to do my topic.
That's all I
Game
got.
sucks.
Oh, man. Good times.
Well, okay.
Good job, guys.
So my topic
Let's hear it.
is about misused phrases.
Oh, I thought you were going with Miss USA. You were like,
Why?
misused SA. What?
Oh, curveball. Let's do that instead.
Yeah, misused.
Why
Okay.
why would it go there?
Why would you not go there?
I don't know. It's a good question.
Yeah. It's not even midnight yet. All right.
So when we were coming up with the topics for this week, it went back to shout out to VP Butters when he was calling us out when Lucas, both you and I had said,
Oh, yeah.
I could care less. When the actual way you should say it is I couldn't care less.
That is correct.
And when he was correcting, I was like, is that right? Like, what have I been saying this in my entire life? Like,
you were like Joey. Are we going to the zoo today? Supposedly.
supposedly. Yeah. I was like, I could care. I'm like saying to my head, I could care less. I couldn't care less. I could care less, but I don't. Like, I'm like, I don't know how. So that's what started it all. So I got like 5 misused phrases for you guys, and you pick the one that is correct.
Ooh.
So I'm gonna pick it, the order. So Lucas, Mark, Ronnie.
Okay.
Okay. So the first one is it all intensive purposes?
Oh, no. I hate this one.
All intents and purposes.
It's the second one. All intents and purposes.
Yeah.
I will also say the second one, all intents and purposes.
Pat, I'm going to go with the first one.
Final answers.
How do you say that one again, Ronnie?
All intensive purposes.
All intents and purposes.
It is all intents and purposes. Mark and Lucas got that one.
Are we trying to get a low score or a high score? I'm confused.
We're trying to
isn't
get
golf.
the middle score.
I thought I was winning.
So good luck.
I thought we were picking the wrong answer.
It's all about strategy. Next one is it tongue and cheek or tongue in cheek?
Do I
Lucas.
Do I go first again?
Yes.
Tongue in cheek.
Tongue in cheek.
Tongue and cheek.
I just feel like he's trying to be contrary now.
Ronnie, you got it right.
Yes! I was just
I
trying
don't
to be
believe
right,
it.
Mark. Woo!
Fake news.
Fake news.
I was gonna say I don't believe you.
You know, for the longest
cheek,
time, I think
tongue in cheek.
I thought it was tongue and cheek, but then I was like, oh, tongue in cheek. You're putting your tongue into your cheek. Totally makes sense. All right,
It's crazy.
is it one and the same or one in the same?
I hate this one. One.
Lucas.
Okay, hold on. I have to say it. It's one and the same. It's one and the same. It's one in the same. I don't know. They all sound the same to me. It sounds like this. I'm saying the same thing, but it's not the same. I'm gonna go with one in. No. I'm gonna go with one and the same.
Okay.
One and yes.
One in the same.
Oh,
Dang it. Oh, no. Mark and
Yeah, I
disagreed
believe
for
one
the
and
first
the
time.
same.
Yeah, I'm with Mark. I changed my answer.
Nope, too late.
No, you can't.
Wait, hold on. Wait, Lucas, did you change your answer?
No, I'm gonna stick with my gut.
What was your gut again? I don't remember.
One and the same.
Okay. And Mark and Ronnie
They were both in.
both got it wrong. It's one
I don't.
and the same.
Yes.
I don't believe you.
Woo! Pulling ahead.
So,
Nope, you changed your answer.
No, I didn't. Stop it.
okay. Next one. Lactose intolerant or lactose intolerant?
I like the second one because it's like you're on a date and you're like, hey, did you know I'm lactose intolerant? I'm a tranquil guy.
You're milk
I'm easy
and
going.
cool-headed?
Yeah, I'm lactose and I'm tolerant. It's lactose. My wife is lactose intolerant. So
Double
I'm
threat.
How does that work? I don't know anybody who's lactose intolerant. Does she not? How do you eat? How do you
get
figure out
sick all
what
the
you
time.
can eat?
Well, she's a degree of lactose intolerant where it just goes right through you, and so if she eats or drinks too much milk or dairy, she just has to make sure she has facilities available within reach.
So she's on
So
Discord a
does
lot.
she stop?
Oh yeah, she's on Discord all the time. Hashtag poop
Does
life.
she stop herself from eating that kind of stuff, or does she still eat it but making sure she's next to some facilities?
She has her days. It depends on how she feels, what mood she's in. There's times where there's a good dessert or whatever, and she's just like, I don't care, and she just eats it, drinks it, whatever, and then just deals with the consequences. But if we go on a long trip, like if she knows we're going to be on a long car ride or anything, she's very tactful, so she's very good at planning ahead, so she just stays away from that stuff.
Okay, so back to the question: is it lactose intolerant or lactose intolerant?
Am I going again?
Lucas, go first.
Okay, lactose intolerant.
He already answered.
I did.
He gets 2 points for this?
Yes, double the points.
Dementia.
Yeah,
I don't remember that.
Yeah, I won't remember the second point.
Lactose intolerant.
I go with
Already talked about the answer.
we go with lactose intolerant, the double threat.
Double threat. I wish you were more lactose intolerant.
Yes, it is lactose intolerant. Moving on.
Not only am I lactose, but I am also tolerant.
I'm gonna use that the next
all right.
time I'm out on a date.
I don't know.
Two left.
I've got pretty white skin. I could be considered lactose. And I don't get a lot of sun.
How would you describe yourself? I am lactose.
And tolerant.
And tolerant.
That's right.
I'm as lactose as they come.
All right. Is it on accident or by accident?
Oh, shoot. I don't like going first with some of these.
Mark, go first.
By accident.
On accident.
Ronnie?
I did it on accident. Did it by accident. You have to really say it out loud, I feel like, to really get a good grasp.
I like to hear you say it out loud before I say my answer.
I know. You like to hear all the options so you can cheat or just say the wrong answer like you've been doing the past 5 responses. Can I hear it in a sentence?
Can you use it in a sentence?
Use it in a sentence.
I broke my PS4 on accident. I broke my PS4 by accident.
I don't think neither of those sound right. I think it's by accidentally. I'm just kidding. I have a friend who used to say that. By accidentally.
By accident. I've never heard that.
When in doubt, go with Mark. So I'm gonna go by accident.
Ronnie?
Well, don't always say that because I
rules
got
when in doubt
like, the
go
last one
against
wrong.
Mark, so I'm gonna go on accident.
Ronnie, you are wrong again.
Yes.
All right. Last one. Is it mute point or moot point?
It's neither of those. It's a moo point.
It's
You got
moot
it.
point.
Yes, it is.
It's a cow's opinion.
It's moo. It's a cow's opinion. It's moo. Oh, man. All right. That's all. Done. Are we all through our topics?
Dun 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 dun.
Guys, we still have 21 minutes before it's 2 hours. So what are we going to talk about?
Music additions to the playlist.
Oh, that's right.
I gotta be honest, I gotta pee really bad too. I was hoping we were gonna wrap this up in the next 5 to 10.
Go ahead. We got time. Just go pee. I'm just kidding.
Gross.
Mark?
I didn't know if we were actually wrapping up or
No,
not.
I'm just
Sorry.
kidding. We don't need. We're wrapping it up. So we've come to the end. We've all 4 given our wondrous topics and had wonderful conversation. But no GMG show would be complete without some music from our very own music man, Marc Boucher. So, Mark, what kind of music you got for us, buddy?
Okay, so as always, you can check out the Good Morning Guys morning playlist on Spotify as well as on iTunes. Thank you, Bernabe Butters. And so for this week, basically, since we got to pick our own topics, each one of us actually got to pick our own song to add to the Good Morning Guys morning playlist. So the choices are as follows. Patrick's choice was Redneck's Cotton Eye Joe.
Nice. A fine choice.
Ronnie's choice was Goodbye Horses from Q Lazarus, which if you're not familiar with that song, they used in Silence of the Lambs.
Also, in
And
Jay and
also-
Silent Bob Strike Back.
I can't wait to hear that because I cannot recall what that song sounds
You are
like.
going to know immediately.
It puts on the lotion.
No, he says something. He says a phrase there that I'm not going to repeat because it's very inappropriate. But
Nice.
Yeah.
Inappropriate music.
But yeah.
But
Moving on.
yeah.
Moving on.
yeah, when I first heard it, I was like, "Ew, gross!" It's from that.
From that.
That was literally the
Um,
text in our group chat.
Yep.
But it was his choice, and therefore it is being added. Lucas's choice was Prince's International Lover.
Yes.
So fitting,
and
sir.
my choice, since I talked about graduation, is a song that I think of when I think of graduation songs, is Eve 6's Here's to the Night. And that's an older song.
That's
It's
good.
like 90s too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah. That's classic graduation song.
Yeah. So, that wraps it up. Enjoy the new additions.
Fantastic. Well, that's all for this Random Morning Volume 2. Feel free to take a generous second and leave us a positive but honest review and rating on iTunes. I really, really, really want to see what crazy thing Ronnie will do when we reach 20 ratings or reviews. So, We only need 3 more, so let your voice be heard. Someone is waiting by the phone to receive your review.
I think I'm going to leave it up to
They
the listeners. Get some options out there, and then everybody vote.
Oh, man. That's even more of a reason to get 3 more ratings and reviews, because he's putting it in our hands. That's very dangerous, Ronnie, but very brave.
I like to live
also remember
dangerously?
Question mark?
I'm Ron Burgundy.
Also remember, if you'd like to join in on future episodes or connect with us or our most lovely community, check out the show notes for this episode that has all of our info, such as our Discord server link. It is free and ranges from very serious to very hilarious topics of conversation. But if Twitter is more your thing, our handle is @TheGMG Podcast. Or if you're feeling super adventurous, you can call us at what number?
929 GMG, guys.
That's right, 929 GMG, guys. Call in, leave a message, ask a question, and you can join us on the show. Beyond that, talk at you again next week on podcast services around the globe as we finally, after 3 or more weeks, discuss the topic of dreams of the sleeping variety. Man, it should be a good and very strange discussion. Alrighty then, Pat, Mark, Ronnie, and you, our friends and family that also happen to be our listeners, go get your good morning this week, and may God bless and guide your lives as you live, work, and game.
1, 2, 3, 4.
Recording now.
Recording now.
Recording.
Pat's was sexy, but Lucas's was like straight from the 90s hip hop.
I'm recording right now.
What was that?
That's auto-tune. I'm recording right now.
I'm recording right now. How about this 90s reference? Recording.
Nice.
Recording.
Nice.
1, 2, 3.
You know, that makes it impossible for me to put it together.
Punch you in the face. Good morning, my brothers and sisters. That was too much in there. It's
Yeah, you gotta pull back
way
a
too
little
much.
bit.
I gotta back up. You're right. I gotta work on that.
Oh man, you did
I
come
was
in
like
hot on
eating.
that
I
one.
was like, "Rah!"
I loved it.